Hello everyone on YouTube. I have no idea what this series is, but for one of my viewers' birthdays I thought, well, why not give it a watch? I have no idea what we're going to be looking at here, so this is completely blind. Alright, let's do this, Fable. Are you ready?
No.
Why are you not ready? You're supposed to be ready. I told you you're ready. Starts hitting you with glove.
No.
Anyway.
World there is a hole, and in that hole is a city, and the city is sliding into hell.
Oh, wonderful!
Welcome to MAGNAGOTHICA MALEGHAST.
Uh,
I think it's MAGNAGOTHICA.
what the hell?
MAGNAGOTHICA? Yep.
Is this...
Mechanically, rules-wise, it's a skirmish war game where you have a lot more detail within your units than just en masse. And amongst them, you're Necromancer.
Oh.
But heading into the stuff that's the flavor for the game.
Okay.
I'd definitely like to talk
I've
about
never
the
heard
rules
of...
later on, but there's just... This video was because there's an itch. There's an itch. The game takes place in Anzen Mezon. Whoa, was that the name? The game takes place in the city of Anzen Mezon, built by the ones
hell of
before,
a name.
and built up, and up, and up. Built by the ones before,
The ones
and built
before.
up, and up, and up, and up, and up, and up, by thousands of dead empires, a necropolis at the end of the world. And the reason people come here and the things come out of it is because in its very center, death is broken.
What?
In the center of the city lies the end of death. Many people wonder what it is, some obsidian throne, the heart of a god, or just a flower yet to wilt entirely. No one knows, but many people come to seek
This
it.
is interesting.
But to that benefit, within the city's territory,
Sounds about
death
right.
is broken. After 6 days, all flesh is returned. Just wake up in one of the billions of crypts across the city. Death is such a nonchalant thing that, and even over minor disputes, people are torn to shreds. Killed, beheaded, limbs torn apart for minor discretions. But not everyone who lives here is dead, surprisingly. There's just a likelihood you're not going to be
Alive?
what's called alive any longer. The longer you come back, or the more you suffer from death and resurrection, the more you begin to decay.
Oh.
Which is not that good, becoming one
Sounds
of the
like
city's
Dark
many
Souls.
ghouls or just wandering corpses. When I mean decay, I don't just mean physically.
You're
though that's
liking
also
this,
part
aren't
of it.
you?
I mean spiritually and mentally. And if you ever want to leave the city after falling under its curse, you can't. The moment anyone who's already suffered and been reborn within the city leaves it, turns to dust. With a notable exception. To everything, actually. To the dust, to the mental degradation and physical degradation. As I can't say degradation, there is an exception. A way around that. A way around the dust, the degradation. Necromancy. And in many other places across the world, that vile act. It's quite common here. To the point that, if you're living here, it's likely you know a little bit of the dark arts, made a pact with the devil, an imp, who knows. But within the city itself, necromancers are a dime a dozen, so most people just moonlight as a necromancer. Mainly just tour guide, a shopkeep,
A necromancer.
a janitor.
Everyone's a
You might know
necromancer.
a little bit here and there. Mostly to keep yourself sane and alive and not
Dead.
taken by things in the city. But necromancers are so common, it's comical. This isn't to say necromancy being cheap doesn't mean it's not scary. I mean, yeah, in the hands of
course
just
it
a
is.
shopkeep that's using it to keep themselves sane and maybe animating a few things into objects. Where the real power comes in, with the real terror, and those that attempt to get into the center of the city. Those are the great houses. Members with varied origins that all exploit their gifts in different ways.
Okay.
We'll touch on them in a little bit because that's partly what you assign your necromancer to. Though back in the city, its size cannot be understated. I mean, just if you've seen some of the images so far and some more here, it's massive. Massive. The city of 1 billion dead, the dead city, the black city, the cursed city, any terrible
Dark Souls names.
negative city next to it, you probably have a good name. I mean, the Southern Corpse Cistern.
What?
There's more of these. Do you see the size of it? Also a food stand.
What the hell?
I love this picture. But that is the outside city. There's then the city within the city. And that city within the city is a spider web, going through the safe passages, tunnels, different routes throughout the entire megastructure that have them different pockets of civilization that is enough to fulfill massive cities in the outside world. And this is where the people live, ply their trade, look over safe routes, pilgrimages, scavengers, meat market
Necromancers
stands.
everywhere.
I mean, you name it. People live here. And not just on some crazed expedition. There's large populations.
Why?
Nothing too glamorous, but, you know, ramshackle town to next ramshackle town to next.
Oh, they can't really
occupied
do much
village.
of.
Then you walk over just a little bit off the beaten path, and all of reality falls apart, and there's hellspawn coming from all directions, even inside you.
Wonderful.
So the city itself,
Horrifying.
You walk on the
I
interior
don't like
of
it.
doesn't make sense. I mean, the outside is, and the safe routes that you generally follow between the different checkpoints makes sense, works, been scouted, safe routes. The deeper you go and the farther you go off the beaten path, the weirder it gets. An example terrain
I did not need that picture of Ludwig, the accursed, thank you very much. I fought him enough. But yeah, I'm giving...
These babies.
Oh my god. I'm getting very Bloodborne and Dark Soulsiest vibes. Are you feeling that too, Fable?
Yeah.
And apparently everyone and their mother is a necromancer here, if they aren't already dead. Which, I mean, if it's to keep themselves alive, I can understand that. It's just... it's kind of crazy. Like, I get it's a giant city that suddenly demons can pop out of one hole or another, quite literally. It feels like... How should I put this? It feels like 40k was rolled up into one planet, if you get my meaning, Fable. Or one
Necromunda.
city. Yeah, Necromunda. In a way. But not exactly the same because we're dealing with different things. It's obviously not the same thing, you guys get what I mean, but it has some of that vibe, you know? Which, there's nothing wrong with that. And Fable seems to be getting into it. They're throwing with guns, aren't muskets.
That's briefly brought up is an entire swamp where all the trees are the mutated bodies of sinners that never made it out of the city.
Oh! Okay.
Instead of reaching for sunlight and leaves, they're just reaching for heaven.
Oh, that actually might be from the Divine Comedy, I think. Where, they're quite literally these trees that are stuck with sinners that are supposed to be like hangman trees, but they've been turned into trees. I think they took inspiration from that, honestly, there, but that is horrifying.
So cool. Though even touching on the city and what's available and whether it's just medieval or not.
Okay.
Who cares? I mean, have you seen the cover? It's metalhead, punk, gothic.
I have a hard time placing the art design.
Punk, whatever you want. You jump from a PMC to anime Catholics.
Oh! Cool. It's all over the place.
Partly due to the fact that the city itself is at the end of the world and no one can die when they stand in here. There's people from ages and ages ago and people even up to modern times. To the point that there is a tram system in the city. Only one. Oh. And it's not to be trusted.
Wait,
there's
what?
Still a tram. It's a
What do you
setting
mean
where
it's
you
not
can
supposed
have
to be
the
trusted?
aesthetics of witchcraft, dark arts, occultism.
So it's all over the place in
just
terms of tech.
Making pacts with demons, alchemy, and then just modern weapons and firearms. God, I love this chart. You've got, well, first off, just the image of the character in the center, and then organs taken from someone else, other arcane foci, and then just cigarettes.
Of course.
It's just such a extreme level of that. Goofy isn't the exact word I'm looking for. It's close, but just ridiculous. Ridiculous is the word. It's just so much metal necromancy thrown together.
Here's the thing. When it comes to like fantasy stuff, it needs to make sense in the context of the world. It doesn't need to make sense in context of our world. And yeah, it can be goofy.
No, it really doesn't.
It can be goofy, it can be crazy, as long as it's fun and interesting. So yeah. I'm gonna do something nice. Anyway, what was I gonna do, Fable? Besides that point of view, yeah, fantasy is meant to have
I have no
unconventional
idea.
rules. As long as the people feel real and as long as the stories feel real, I am completely fine with it. Like, making someone go fight a giant monster. Of course they're gonna be horrified. Or maybe they aren't because they're so used to fighting them. Or maybe they aren't because this is just what they do on a daily basis and this is what happens in their world.
Together, extremely dark things, and then a punk aesthetic thrown on top of it, in just the ridiculous scale and time. Speaking of aesthetics, and generally what you'll be finding, we have the Great Houses. First
Okay.
up, Carcass.
Carcass.
Of all things, a PMC. Focused on
Oh.
range, formations, grouping up with allies, and reloading. And headshots.
I like their designs, honestly. They're interesting.
Overwhelming firepower. Oh, also before we move on, this is the playlist.
Oh. Wait,
Every faction has a playlist.
what do you think about that, Fable? Every faction having a playlist, like a metal playlist? What the hell? I didn't even know you could. This game's getting interesting, but in a way of, I don't understand, but that's kind of cool. Know what I mean, Fable? Fable? Are you alive? You just send me. Oh, he's away. The inspiration versus his door. Yeah, okay, so Chainsaw Man, Hellsing to Rob Zombie, a heavy metal covers. What do you think? I can see Chainsaw Man in here very clearly, but that kind of makes it cool. Anyway, Fable, where are you?
I'm here. What's up?
You weren't answering me, so I was very confused.
Sorry, I was talking to someone. What's up?
Okay, we're talking about this. Apparently, each of these PMCs that you can work with has a playlist. Also, apparently several of them have anime series that are quite literally taking inspiration for each of the, well, factions here.
Okay.
And yeah, they apparently have a. I'm confused by the playlist. I'm sorry, everyone.
If
They'll
heavy metal
probably
necromancy
skip.
didn't get its tone across through the aesthetic. And I mean, just look at that. It's got eyes. Next is the gore grinders.
The gore
Which,
grinders.
I mean, Chainsaw Man,
Yep.
but all about
Just
running up
Chainsaw
rage
Man.
and speed, going fast, and of course my favorite unit, the wave. Oh, that's not good. Yeah, I'm seeing the wave file right over there. That's not good.
Yeah, you should
But
probably
fast,
take a look at
speed,
that.
knock them down, they get back up again. Only once. Just being mad. Just hitting things really hard. You run in, melee. Blood for the blood god, skulls
Blood
for the skull throne. And of course,
Yeah,
the
it
gore
seems to
grind.
be it does seem to be like Chainsaw Man-esque. These are kind of cool designs. I won't lie. So yeah, odd. It's odd but rad. Yeah, that's the best way to put it. You can buy it on. It could load with PNGs for virtual. Oh, Fable, this might be something you want to look into. As a virtual
What?
tabletop games.
Uh,
Yeah, you like this kind of stuff. Anyway,
Grinders playlist.
playlist. I will kill you in the Tower of Torsos.
You're keeping that in. Next up is
Okay.
Gargamox. Gargamox is weird. So,
Gargoyles.
there is no deal with this devil, nor is it really considered still a
Okay.
great house in the sense of its power and influence, but it has no structure.
Really?
The ability in spellcasting is just given randomly to the
Huh.
lowest of society, spreading plagues, disease, things
Oh.
that can remove flesh from bone.
Uh,
Damage over time. Ugh. Though I do just also want to note one of their specific units is just... It's just a horde of rats puppeting a corpse.
Oh.
It's got a great picture.
That feels like something Fable would have if he was a necromancer. Anyway, yeah, Skaven as hell, isn't it? Yeah, bunch of rats puppeting a corpse.
Also, Basic Ooze has been buffed up. It's the boss version for this army.
I'm sorry I'm stopping a lot,
on,
but I've just never had a series exactly like this, so I'm like taking it all in, like thinking through my processes. So I'm trying to speak through it, but yeah.
Playlist. Gorgamok? Am I really gonna screw all these up? Gorgamox.
I might
Next
send
is
this
the
to my
Dead
friend
Souls,
Raikoi,
who-
who might like this. Dead Souls.
Worship the god who died.
What?
And in part of that process, and the ability to keep their powers and their
Okay, they look like
themselves
Dark Souls
intact
villains.
actually, intact's very questionable. So they got rid of their soul. Because everyone else is here worrying about what arcs or what pacts to make because, you know, slowly degrading every time you die here, your soul's already damned because the city's falling into hell. Just get rid of it. Who needs it? Bound entirely to their physical form.
Oh.
Also questionable. Your soul's already damned because this about what arcs or what pacts to make because, you know, slowly degrading every time you die here, your soul's already damned because the city's falling into hell. Just get rid of it. Who needs it? Bound entirely to their physical form.
They got rid of their own soul.
Also questionable. They are the Omen. They have benefits to getting units in isolation. And no, I don't mean moving them and separating them. I mean, if a unit on the enemy side is alone, they do additional things to them. Sometimes it's just more damage, sometimes it's dooming them. Alright, Doom. So a lot of their abilities and spells can apply Doom to an enemy or a unit.
What is that?
And by round 4, they just take 6 damage. Which in this system is almost a full bar of health for most things.
Damn.
Or is. Not to mention it can also stack other bonuses and damage with some of the other effects and abilities.
These guys are kind of scary and creepy.
Whew. And the
Like-
Dead Souls playlist.
Of course, dude.
The Abhorrers!
Okay.
Yes! Yes, yes, yes! Weeb none.
We've done. Oh, honestly, I like it when people mix Catholicism with like other stuff to create a sort of interesting genre, like Catholic design in terms of swords and whatnot.
Look at that image! Look at it!
Yeah, it's very
Orthodox
Hellsing.
heretical order from outside the city made its way here. The idea: practice necromancy to fight necromancy, and then also do katana about it. I guess.
I'd
There's a
probably
shuriken
be this
ability, by the
faction.
way. But also, like,
Because Catholic
some
imagery
cool
is just
things
cool.
of, like, just look at their units, and specifically this one,
Which one?
the mix of biblically accurate angel and corpse,
Oh,
and
Fable, did you see that?
Yeah, I saw that.
angel and corpse.
Dear God.
And to also summarize it, I mean, this is the portrait for the general necromancer from this house.
That's just Alexander Anderson. That's just him. What do I say to this? That's Alexander Anderson.
That's Alexander Anderson.
Exactly.
The brief mechanics-wise, there's the tag of Miracle, which, if a unit dies, they get to roll a dice and they might just come back. Difficult roll, but just have them come back. Not to mention stance as well, which means on just certain rounds they have different abilities, or the abilities do different things. And the Abhorrers playlist.
Ooh.
Then the Igori, made up of a bunch of either mutants,
Igor.
scientists, doctors.
Oh.
Okay. Not even going through all the flavor text.
Cool.
Basically, have on the outside world from the city a bunch of different Frankensteins. Not the monster, the doctor.
Oh. Okay.
Get together, came to the city, founded this house. You know,
Wonderful.
all the unethical stuff. And it's not just in the mixing things together and make it Frankenstein. They do have that. But they also have as their units Lycan and Strigoi.
Oh.
It's messing with all the physical things when it relates to necromancy, including just vampirism and lycanthropy.
Horrifying.
Debatably. One of their main mechanics-wise is mutate, which they can stack up mutation tokens, which they can either expend.
To clarify, dead souls made a pact with a dead god and embodies total oblivion. In exchange for power, their souls cease to exist so that they move to the and become necromancers, cheat death, and live forever, so they don't have to ever pay up. Oh.
And have do something on one of their units,
wow.
Or if they already have a buff or a debuff, if they would lose a buff token, they can instead spend a mutation token to keep that buff for longer. So
cool.
It's just stacking buffs and debuffs all throughout your character. And
interesting.
The playlist. Very gory.
I
That's
can't
it when
believe
it
they
comes
had
to
a
the great
playlist.
houses. But here's the itch part. The itch part, and the whole reason for this video, and the reason it's an intro to and not just talking about the game itself, or just mechanics. It screams for more. It really does. Like, ridiculous. Grand scale.
Maybe
stuff
vampires?
thrown in, goofy on some of the various pictures and images. But when it gets to the units themselves, there's no flavor text. It doesn't need it to run what it is. I mean, it's a like $6.
It probably adds to the
mystique. Like you can pick it up easy. And the art itself is already well worth that. But it's just
very Dark Soulsy.
I mean, come on. You look at some of these units and like more about the faction. I want to run a tabletop RPG in this. And it doesn't even necessarily be like its own super fleshed out setting, the world outside of it, that is. The city itself's enough of that. And it could kind of be placed in a lot of different places. I mean, in AOS, you could have it just as a city in Shaiish. Or is it Shaish? Shaish? Shaiish?
Shaiish.
With Warhammer Fantasy, Nehekar somewhere. Enter another fantasy setting, fill in the blank here, then place an Anzen Mezon within it.
Wait, what was that? What was that one before?
With Warhammer Fantasy, Nehekar somewhere.
I do love the Nekara. They are a really cool faction of Egyptian Skellyman, and they have really cool units. I still need to play them in Total War, because look at these cool guys. Cetra does not bow. Cetra leads.
Enter another fantasy setting, fill in the blank here,
Laid in the dark.
then place an Anzen Mezon within it. Because it's just the one city, you really could place it in different locations. And just... Because the golden masks, okay? The golden masks. Let alone everything else
cool.
and expanding upon the devil.
Well, the gold masks are mostly death masks, which are mostly from Catholic imagery. And overall, it's basically an advanced game of chess with heavy metal paint job. That's what I got from it. I feel like this could, if they delve a bit more, I feel like this could be a whole, well, tabletop RPG.
And some of the character figures and the...
I mean, who wouldn't want to make their own
Abhorrers,
Frankenstein?
Every unit outside of the Holy Body has a golden mask. Tells a slight story, doesn't it? They don't want to show the faces of those they're using.
Yeah?
But that's just me insinuating. I can insinuate all day about a lot of these.
Yeah, you can't
Can't, or not, I mean I can, but it's not written there. It's just asking for it. You could put entire paragraphs with each of these. You'd have it that all the Abhorrers units that are being brought with them and that they're bringing into battle are all the people that came on this crusade with them.
Oh.
Dead and reanimated over and over and over again, covering their face and body so you don't see the horrific things that have happened to it. But again, that's just insinuation. But the stuff that's here, it's just screaming for it. But it's not the game itself.
Yeah, everyone loves a good amount of flavor text.
More in depth on the units and factions. But that's an intro to the world of MAGNAGOTHICA MALEGHAST. Punk, metal, necromancy. Have a nice day.
So, Fable, important words.
Yeah.
What did you think of all that?
Yes.
Okay, that doesn't tell me anything, but okay. His name, Penny Dreadful. Oh my god. Apparently, the girl on the cover of that game, do you know what her name is, Fable, that Chaz told me?
What is her name?
Her name is Penny Dreadful.
Ah.
You get it, right?
Yeah.
Also, apparently someone has told me Blades in the Dark is Oops All Rogues in Lovecraftian world.
Nah.
Anyway, thank you all so much. I am interested in some of these designs, obviously. Fable's kind of interested. He loves, like, Eldritch, Lovecraftian horror in its most basic form. But, yeah. Sorry if I was just... This is a lot to take in. But we'll go over this later. So, once again, thank you all so much for stopping by. If you like what we're doing, it's definitely an interesting concept. I love it when we get, like, new tabletops, specifically RPGs, that try their own setting that is very unique. Right, Fable?
Yeah.
As long as they don't make the things, like, the overall book too confusing. But yeah. Thank you all so much, and we'll see you later. Like, comment, subscribe, do the thing if you like us to do more of these. And we'll later.